So the next thing we're going to talk about is CSS specificity. And CSS specificity is, I'll create a new directory, 027, CSS specificity. And I've apparently stopped keeping track of what we're doing here. 27, what would we just do? So we're actually at, this should have been like, this last one should have been CSS select, descendant selectors, review, and we'll rename that. And then this one is CSS specificity. I don't know if I spelled that right. Specificity. It's a weird word to say. I'm going to just rename this to 30 to kind of correspond with that. I'm going to rename this one to 29 to correspond with that. Awesome. All right, CSS specificity. And we'll create a new directory, 01. And then inside of it, create our HTML file, index. And then we'll create our CSS file, main. And then we'll put that over on the right. And here, we are going to have like an H1, hello. And then over here, we'll do, and we'll put this inside of a div for whatever reason. And so here we'll say H1, color blue. And then here we'll say div H1, color green. And then here we'll say div H1, color red. And then here we'll say, sure, Waka Baka, color, I don't know, greenish, turquoise. And we'll give this an ID of Waka Baka. And then we'll also have a class of Aruga. So we'll have a class of Aruga, color pink. All right, so we have 5 rule sets in our CSS. And those 5 rule sets are all targeting formatting on the same HTML element. And so one of the things we do to determine what gets applied is the order in which the CSS is written. And so, you know, we might also have like this, right? And I don't know, orange, red, orange. Right? Now, like, you know, if this one got applied and then this one got applied, right? If it's only those two, those just all got commented out. If it's only those 2 H1s, this is going to be orange because that last H1 is one applied, right? But now we have different things, and we have different specificity. And we could even like add to the specificity here. We might go body div H1, and this could be, I don't know, fuchsia. Right? And so now, you know, it could even be HTML. And so it's any H1, which is a direct descendant of a div, which is contained within body, which is contained within HTML. And so when we have a whole bunch of conflicting stuff, one of the rules that overrides order is CSS specificity. And so we give weights to things. And so you go to CSS specificity, just like Google it, and there'll be a specificity calculator. Here we go. And elements, these are kind of like number places, like the ones, the tens, the hundreds, the thousands. So elements and, let me get rid of that. Elements and pseudo elements. So like in H1, I get 1, right? But if I had a div that had an H1 in it, that's going to be 2, right? So that's element and pseudo element. If I had a div that had a Aruga class in it, now we have 11. We have one class and one element, right? The element is the div, the class is Aruga. And so if both of those were applied targeting the same element, div Aruga is going to win because it's got a higher number. If this had up here instead an ID, now we have 101, which is going to beat out 11. Okay, so IDs kind of carry 100 weight, classes carry 10 weight, and elements carry 1 weight. So when we look at this, here we have 1, right? Like this one is 1. Like it's an element, it's just 1. This one is 2 elements, that's 2, the specificity weight. This one is 4 elements, that's 4. This one is 2 elements, that's 2. This one is an ID, that's 100. This one is a class, that's 10. This one is an element, that's 1. So what color is hello going to be? What has the higher weight, the higher CSS specificity? What color?
I don't know how to pronounce that word.
Turquoise.
Yeah.
Turquoise. So it's going to be turquoise. Let's just make sure the proof is in the pudding. And why didn't it work? Who could troubleshoot that for me?
You don't have the link to your CSS file.
Thank you very much. I didn't link my CSS file. So if you're ever like, why is my CSS not working? Did you connect it? Oops, that's not what I want. Turquoise. Okay?